2 years of fighting have led up to this. In February of 2376, the Allies launched their invasion of Cardassia. Greetings, loyal members. This is the Dominion War. Now, last month, after Starfleet counters the Breen energy damper, the Dominion is forced to retreat back into Cardassian territory, dig in and fortify their positions to make one final stand against the Allied forces. And they now dare the Allies to attack. And this month, the Allies take them up on their offer and launch their assault. This is hoped to be the final assault to bring an end to the war. And this is quite a complex operation. It's been in the works for a while, basically since last October, when the Dominion forced the Allies to retreat from Chintoka. This plan is very different to the invasion of Chintoka. It is a large, all-fronts operation. And so we'll break it down stage by stage because it is incredibly complex. So, first and foremost, Phase 1 begins with a set of probing attacks by the Romulans. The Romulan Praetorian Legion launches a series of raids behind Dominion lines in the north, striking Lemedia Prime, Adarak Prime, Arias, and Dopa. The Romulan 4th Legion attacks Dameron, Menora, Lazon, Lavol, and Sapiridon before retreating back behind friendly lines. At the same time, the Federation fleet in the north engages the Cardassians at Kuela, as does the Federation fleets in the center attack the 2 Cardassian fleets, fixing them in place and isolating the Breen fleet, as well as another fixing attack on the Breen in the Chintoka system. Now this concludes Phase 1, and the result of this is that the Dominion is forced to redeploy their reserves north. The Jem'hadar begin moving. The Jem'hadar fleet at Rishat moves up to Rakal. At Prishaka they go to Sheva. From Felton Prime to Adarak Prime. From Kora to Arias. From Korma to Laval. And from Pelosa to Menora, as well as a Cardassian order moving from Amleth Prime up to Dameron. They believe from these raids that the intention of the Allies is to attack in the centre and north and cut off basically most of the heartland of Cardassian population. Most of the Cardassian population and most of the Cardassian colonies are up in the north, though most of their industrial infrastructure is, of course, in the south. The Dominion believes that the Allies actually intend to liberate the Cardassian population rather than the actual resources and infrastructure of the Cardassian Union itself. This is further confirmed by the fact that the Allies launch a massive attack in the center. 2 Klingon fleets and a Federation fleet attack the Breen Central Fleet. With the Cardassian fleets fixed in place, they're in no position to support it, and that Breen fleet is crushed. At the same time that the Dominion is moving north, the Allies launch their main attack in the south, towards Cardassia Prime. On the main southern front, the Klingons attack in 2 prongs, focusing on Toros and Kelvas, matching 3 Klingon fleets against 1 Cardassian fleet each, something which the Cardassians have no real means to counter. At the same time, the Romulan Black Legion maneuvers around the Monax system. The result of this is that those 2 Cardassian fleets at Kelvas and Toros are now cut off from any retreat or from any reinforcements, because the Romulan fleet is out there blocking their movement in deep space. Similarly, the Romulan Seabirds launch a similar attack to block off Dominion reinforcements in what is known as the Calandra flank. The Romulan seabirds maneuver from Tavak to Thekla, and in so doing cut off the combined order at Cardassia Prime, the other Breen fleet, and several Jem'hadar fleets. While the Romulans are doing this, the Federation fleet launches an attack on Avenol, engaging a lone Cardassian order with 4 Federation fleets. The Cardassians are very quickly overwhelmed by this assault and retreat to Pelosa. Now this takes us to about halfway through the month. By this point, you can see that the Federation fleet and the Klingon fleet have formed 2 pincers that are going to close in around Cardassia Prime. You have the main Klingon fleet with the furthest elements at Amleth Prime, and the Federation fleet with the furthest elements at Korma. The obvious plan here is of course to isolate Cardassia Prime from the majority of Dominion forces which are still located up in the centre and northern fronts. However, now comes the tricky part of the plan. To connect the pincers and prevent the Dominion from stuffing the pocket. You see, once the Dominion realise that this is the Allies' intention, they can just pour all their ships into Cardassia and force the Allies to fight a very, very long attritional campaign. So now it's on the Allies to close this pocket as quickly as possible. So the Federation fleets drive to Menorah, whilst the Klingon fleets drive to Dameron. At the same time, there's further movement taking place in the centre and south, including further Federation reinforcements on that Calandra flank, as it's now become known, the Tellarian flank, but essentially Cardassia's weak flank. The Federation are pouring fleets into that. At the same time, the Klingons are driving forward. Klingon fleets are also engaging the Breen at Chintoka in cooperation with 3 Federation fleets. Now further up in the centre, a second assault takes place. Similar to before, the 2 fleets on the flanks of the central front engage their Cardassian opposite numbers, fix them in place, and then the Federation fleet and the 2 Klingon fleets attack the Jem'hadar fleet, and again, wipe it out. Now that's not the only movement. The Romulans are moving to capture advanced objectives. The Romulan 4th Legion maneuvers to Salva to take that advanced objective and cut off any reinforcements coming from further inside Cardassian space, and at the same time the Romulan Firebirds maneuver down from Seltris to Felton Prime, again cutting off and blockading any movement from Trelka and beyond to reinforce the main front lines. And then on that very northern front, the Federation engages the Jem'hadar fleet at Kelrabi, essentially ignoring the Cardassian fleet based at Kuela, who have no interest whatsoever in reinforcing the Jem'hadar. Or at the same time, of course, the Dominion are now rushing to stuff the Cardassia Prime pocket. The result of this is that the Dominion front line in the centre and north effectively collapse. Now, the result of this, the Breen actually survived the Federation assault on Chintoka, but it was still enough to immobilise them and prevent them from countering further Klingon movements. So the Klingons now not only reach Dameron, but also move up to Inefra, allowing them to connect with the Federation fleets that broke through in the centre, reaching Seltris and Omekla, capturing the 2 Cardassian fleets. So the 2 Cardassian fleets in the central front immediately just surrender, whilst the Cardassian fleet at Kuela is just sits there and is cut off and surrounded, and will probably surrender in due course. Dominion holdings in Cardassia have basically been split into 3 pockets. You have the large majority Jem'hadar fleets in the sort of far north. In total, you have 5 Jem'hadar fleets there, a Cardassian order, and a combined order. In the Chintoka pocket, you have a single Cardassian fleet and a single Breen fleet. The main objective is, of course, the Cardassia Prime pocket. And despite the best efforts of the Klingons and Federation to close that gap, the Dominion did pretty well in stuffing that pocket. Inside the Cardassia Prime pocket, you have 1 Breen fleet, 2 combined orders, 3 Jem'hadar fleets, and 3 Cardassian orders. So all told, that's 9 fleets. You're looking at something in the region of close to 1,000 ships. Now, of course, matched against them is quite a substantial force, including a Romulan fleet, 4 Federation fleets, and 4 Klingon fleets. So, at the current moment, it's only about 9. Now, of course, the Allies clearly have some work cut out for them. The fight's not over yet, not by a long shot, but it may be that the Allies can land the knockout blow that they could not a year before. So, that brings us to the end of the month, with the Allies launching a very successful invasion of Cardassia, but Dominion resistance is far from over, and there's still plenty of fight left in the Dominion and their allies. So, as I say, just over a year before, the Allies had launched their invasion of Chintoka, and then spent 9 months bashing their heads against a solid wall. That was ultimately a result of cautious planning, and planning on the basis of compromise. They couldn't all agree what to do, the Allies couldn't all agree what to do, so they ended up carrying out the safest, the most cautious, the least objectionable plan. But the result was that it was a very predictable plan, a very easily countered plan. This time, the Allies are able to fight in a way that each of them want. The Klingons can launch rapid, blitzkrieg assaults deep into enemy territory, driving hard and aggressive. The Federation can fight methodically and in large numbers. The Romulans can infiltrate behind enemy lines and maneuver and engage drawn-out enemy fleets in deep space. They're all fighting the war that they want, but they're doing it in a way that is cooperative. And this really needs to be stressed. This has never been done before. The great powers of the Alpha Quadrant are cooperating in a way that plays to each of their own strengths. And they're all doing it towards one shared goal: the liberation of Cardassia. So this truly is a historic moment, not just in this war, but in the relations and the history of the Alpha Quadrant. The 3 great powers fighting as one and playing to each of their strengths. Almost reminds me of another war. See you all next time.